Social interfaces, ancient wisdom for building strong relationships in modern life. Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to explore a remarkable teaching from ancient wisdom that is just as relevant in today's world as it was centuries ago. It explains that every person lives within a network of social relationships, and these relationships succeed only when both sides fulfill their responsibilities. Ancient teachings categorize these social interfaces into 6 groups. They also explain the main expectations of the people involved in each category. The idea is very simple yet very powerful. If the expectations attached to every social relationship are fulfilled, many problems that could otherwise arise can be minimized or completely avoided. An important point to remember is that every social interface has 2 sides. Each relationship is reciprocal. While your behavior should fulfill the expectations of others, your own reasonable expectations should also be fulfilled. Healthy relationships are built on mutual responsibility rather than one-sided expectations. The social relationships of an adolescent student living in the modern world are naturally different from those of wealthy young businessmen who lived in ancient times. For example, having many domestic helpers in a household is extremely rare today. However, relationships with parents, teachers, friends, spiritual advisors, and mentors remain just as important, and the expectations on both sides are largely the same. Although the interface relating to a spouse and children is extremely important for a married person, it is not applicable to an adolescent child. It should also be noted that parents often perform several roles simultaneously. They act not only as parents, but also as teachers, advisors, spiritual guides, and even trusted friends. However, today's discussion is based on the duties attached to each social interface rather than on the individual persons themselves. Let's now look at these 6 social interfaces. 1. The parental interface. The first social interface is between parents and their children. Duties of parents. Ancient teachings explain that parents have 5 important responsibilities. First, they should prevent their children from bad conduct. Second, they should encourage and direct them toward doing good things. Third, they should provide them with education. Fourth, they should facilitate their marriages when the appropriate time comes. Fifth, they should gradually share their wealth, hand over their properties, and transfer management responsibilities in a planned and orderly manner. Duties of children towards parents. Children also have important responsibilities. They should look after their parents when they become ill, weak, or elderly. They should help them with their work and household responsibilities whenever possible. They should preserve and sustain the family's cultural and social values. They should safeguard their parents' wealth and ancestral properties. Finally, even after their parents have passed away, they should remember them with gratitude, bestow merit upon them according to their traditions, and carry out their worthy wishes. Even today, although lifestyles have changed, these principles continue to strengthen families across the world. 2. The interface between teachers and students. Education is not merely about transferring information. It is also about developing character. Duties of teachers should discipline their students. They should teach with commitment and dedication. They should impart their entire knowledge without holding anything back. They should introduce students to their own friends and professional contacts whenever appropriate, helping them build opportunities for the future. They should also take proper care of their students. Duties of students, in return, should respect their teachers. They should willingly provide simple services whenever required or appropriate. They should listen carefully to their teachers. Most importantly, they should study with genuine interest and dedication. Even in today's digital age, where learning often happens online, these responsibilities remain just as valuable. 3. Interface with friends. The qualities of true friends have already been discussed in previous talks. All those qualities continue to apply here. Good friendships are built upon honesty, trust, loyalty, kindness, generosity, and mutual support. 4. Duties between friends. Ancient teachings describe friendship somewhat asymmetrically because the individual referred to in the original teaching, Singala, was wealthy and probably more powerful than many of his friends. However, among school children and young people today, friendships are usually much more equal. Sometimes the roles may even reverse depending on the situation. Duties of a friend towards a more powerful friend. A friend should look after his or her friend even when that friend does not appear to be weak. They should protect their friend's wealth whenever the friend is unable to do so. They should never abandon their friend during danger or fear. They should help whenever their friend faces difficulties. They should also extend their support to their friend's relatives whenever necessary. Duties of a more powerful friend. The more powerful friend also has important responsibilities. They should present gifts when appropriate. They should have pleasant and respectful conversations. They should provide proper advice. They should treat their friends equally without discrimination. As mentioned earlier, wealth or power is often not a major factor among school friends. Therefore, modern friendships should ideally combine the responsibilities found in both lists. Nevertheless, in many schools, there are students who become influential because of their popularity, leadership abilities, sporting achievements, or academic excellence. In such situations, the distinction between the two sets of duties still remains meaningful. 5. Interface with mentors, spiritual friends, clergy, and respectful elders. Every person benefits from the guidance of experienced individuals. Duties of advisors. Mentors should prevent people from engaging in bad conduct. They should encourage good actions. They should advise others with compassion. They should freely share their valuable experiences and knowledge without reservation. They should patiently clear doubts and help people develop stable knowledge in a systematic manner. Finally, they should show the path toward future success. Duties towards mentors and elders. The person receiving such guidance also has responsibilities. They should be kind and friendly towards mentors, clergy, and elders in every respect. They should always keep their doors open for them, meaning they should warmly welcome them whenever appropriate. They should show respect and provide whatever assistance they reasonably can. In modern life, mentors may include teachers, counselors, coaches, experienced professionals, or respected community leaders. 6. Interface with service providers and employers. The sixth social interface relates to various service providers, employees, employers, and organizations. Although domestic servants are uncommon in many Western countries today, they still exist in some households in countries such as Sri Lanka and the Middle East. In addition, many services are obtained from individuals or organizations on a payment basis. Sometimes these services appear to be free because governments or other organizations pay for them on behalf of the public. Therefore, this social interface remains highly relevant today, although the specific duties and methods of compensation may differ from those of ancient times. Duties of service providers and employees and service providers should work with commitment and care. They should never take anything without permission. They should avoid abusive or inappropriate language that could hurt the feelings of the service recipient. They should carefully follow instructions so that expectations are fulfilled. They should use their working time efficiently and effectively. Duties of employers or service recipients. Employers should provide proper and clear instructions according to a planned approach. They should make prompt salary or agreed payments with payment rates decided beforehand according to accepted industrial standards. They should look after employees whenever health problems arise. They should not discriminate against employees when sharing special foods or other benefits in their presence. Finally, they should provide sufficient opportunities for rest and relaxation at planned intervals. These principles remain highly relevant whether we are talking about office workers, healthcare professionals, delivery personnel, government employees, or anyone providing a service to others. Conclusion: it is impossible to list every responsibility and expectation that exists within every social relationship. Human interactions are simply too varied. Instead, these ancient teachings encourage us to understand the guiding principles behind each social interface. Once we understand these principles, we can apply them wisely to determine the appropriate duties and expectations in any situation we encounter. Although our world has changed dramatically, human relationships continue to depend upon the same timeless values: responsibility, respect, kindness, honesty, gratitude, and mutual support. If each of us makes an effort to fulfill our own responsibilities while respecting the reasonable expectations of others, many conflicts can be prevented long before they begin. Thank you very much for watching. If you found this discussion useful, please like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel for more talks that explore timeless wisdom for living a happier, more meaningful, and successful life. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.